Hello, hello, good afternoon, good morning, good evening. We've got some Link to the Past Randomizer 2023 tournament action for you. We are bringing you this Group K matchup between Sailor Nep and TjMaelstrom, where this is actually going to be Sailor Nep's last race of the group stage, and they are seeking to go a perfect 6-0. Meanwhile, TjMaelstrom at 2-1 so far. So he's looking to pick up a win. Any win will get him at least a tiebreaker to advance out of groups, where we don't have the scenarios for that all laid out with the rules. But our runners are off. Calling this race, I'm Reg. I'm joined by Slim Kirby. So we got MC Boss written up there. Let's talk about it a bit.
Yes, we have MC Boss. That's Map Compass Randomizer with Boss Enemizer as well. This is actually the second time that both of these runners are actually racing this mode. They actually got it for their game one. Sailor Nep, of course, took that game because, again, they're 5-0 right now. But, yeah, all the bosses are going to be shuffled around in all the dungeons, and the maps and compasses are also shuffled into the pool as well. This is important not just for getting crystal and pendant information with the maps, but the compasses will actually give you some info on bosses. So if you're in a dungeon, if you bring up the map, you can actually get a sneak peek of what that boss is going to be. So, you know, if you need to get a particular item to finish the boss, you can use that to your advantage, get some intel, potentially, you know what you need for go mode at a certain point as well. But yeah, looking forward to this race. Like you said, you know, have a potential for a undefeated member of groups. And, you know, Sailor Nep is in the first quartile, so we'll have likely a great seeding as a result of this. TjMaelstrom, you know, looking for their third win of the stage, and we'll put them in a pretty good position heading into the rest of the Group K matches. So really, really excited to see how this will play out.
Yeah, and it is worth noting, like I said, any win from TJ would put him in good position because the other two members of this group, F. Coughlin and Durdash, both at 0-3 right now, so can only reach 3 wins themselves. But more importantly, we've got some routing divergence off the bat here. TjMaelstrom went for a Houlihan opening to buy the bombs, go straight to South Shore, avoid Kakariko. Meanwhile, Nep went to Uncle and kind of playing the traditional Kakariko route here.
We haven't seen too much. The only item worth mentioning, I'd say at this point, is we do have the blue mail on Sailor Nep's side. Going to get some more items here from TJ. Get some bombs, a heart piece. That's the blue mail, actually. That's the other mail, actually. So that's interesting. So yeah, there we go. That's all we've seen so far.
Yeah, we have seen 3 compasses so far. We saw Eastern Palace in the Sanctuary, and then we saw Skull Woods, and was that Turtle Rock there? 2 Dark World compasses?
I believe so, yes.
And perhaps very importantly, since we are using a full boss shuffle, which means 2 of some random boss in the pool, we saw the Ice Rod on the Lake Hylia Island.
Okay, that is definitely a item that, you know, it's good to know where that is. Normally, you only need that ice rod for Trinex, obviously. But since, you know, it's a boss shovel and you could potentially have, you know, 2 Trinexes, you know, good to have at least the knowledge of that. Obviously, you want to hope to not get a Trinex, but, you know, it's there. It's for at least intel purposes anyway.
Yeah. And we did get the mirror out of the dam on TjMaelstrom's side there. So, I mean, that is one piece of the puzzle towards getting that ice rod.
That's right. And Nep did find the shovel in Kakariko. Got some more items. Looks like we have the book in Kakariko as well.
Just playing the fetch quest game here in Kakariko between that shovel and that book.
Yeah, pretty much. Do you get a sword? That's a great find. And also the Quake Medallion. And... yeah, okay, so pretty standard items here. Nothing that's really, you know, pushing them out of this early Light World progression or anything, but still, definitely some good items to have.
Quake plus sword is pretty nice early. I'm pretty sure you can just walk into mini Moldorm caves, press Y, and they just all die if you want to go that route.
Yeah, exactly.
Bombs are probably still faster for a top-end runner, but it's a bit RNG dependent. The Moldorms can kind of just be mean about it.
Yeah, exactly. Another compass, but we do also get the boots inside Kakariko as well.
Boots are great. We're going to see is TjMaelstrom presumably going to go to Kak here starting at the Sanctuary, not going to head to like Sahasrara and put that off even further. And actually, with the bombs in hand, TjMaelstrom will be able to do the traditional north to south Kakariko, where Nep had to detour all the way down to buy some bombs.
Right.
Having to run back up.
And of course, on that flip side, though, with those boots, Nep is going to be able to, and especially with the sword as well, going to be kind of able to, you know, check the dam and South Shore and all that stuff. TjMaelstrom did a bit faster, so that'll actually be nice, kind of heading that way. Do get the map to Hyrule Castle, but that map will not tell us anything, so don't really care about that.
Yeah, Hyrule Castle map, literally nothing for these runners. Like, it's not even like compass shows item counts and they don't need those. Useless. It's literally useless.
Yeah, exactly. One thing I kind of hope they potentially add in like a future version, I know it'd take a lot of coding, obviously, but being able to like add it so that Ganon's tower compass could give you intel on the bosses in that dungeon, that'd be kind of cool. But I imagine that'd be kind of hard to get things programmed in that fashion.
Yeah, I think that's been requested as a feature a handful of times.
But yeah, I'm sure it has, yeah.
With Ganon's Tower being 3 bosses, it's non-trivial for sure. TjMaelstrom here showing off a bit, just the mirror block erase. You spam the mirrors, you're pushing blocks, and the block just disappears. Don't do that in dungeons, though.
Oh, no. Yeah, exactly. I still remember when I first learned the whole mirror deletion thing. I was like, oh, this is so cool. I was like, oh, I could just do this in a dungeon. I'm like, oh, wait, no. It has another feature in a dungeon.
Yep. That's one of those things. Don't really expect to see it from runners of Nep or TJ's level, but beginners, everybody does it once and they get mad about it, and then they don't do it again. But we do here going to have a new check on Nep's side because TjMaelstrom routed Mini Moldworm west, didn't do the Ice Rod Cave, so that's pretty isolated of a check. But Nep's going to show it to us.
Yeah, having the boots, I imagine, definitely kind of adds a little more incentive to just getting this check out of the way.
Yeah, especially since a water walk can be done here.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, dashing right on the edge of the pit there. Dashing out of the cave, not bonking. And next time Nep jumps into the water facing south, we'll just walk on it. Yeah, exactly like that. And what Nep's going to do here is use this to get these 2 chests in the waterfall, then run right back out and run up to the guy under the bridge. Except, oh wait, didn't lose the water walk on getting, because it wasn't a refill, it's just a heart.
Right.
If you get a refill in that waterfall cave from either of those 2 chests, you'll lose your water walk and revert to a swimming state, which kind of sucks because you don't have that much control over that.
Yeah.
But that was not the Sank heart, and it was not a 4th piece of heart, so Nep's all good.
And of course, we're still very early on. Haven't found too many rupees. Gonna be kind of just leaving Zora on the side, or at least for right now. But we do know that there's a rupee on the ledge at the very least, so gonna ignore that.
Yeah, there's no reason to go for it. No real way to get to it right now.
Right.
Nep didn't actually check that shovel, I don't think, but that is a pod map. Not super useful immediately, but... And yeah, for Chad asking about the Pearl water walk, there's 2 separate water walking glitches. There's the boots, where you run next to a pit, like we saw Nep do in Ice Rod Cave, and then jump facing south. That gets you a water walk that, if you walk into the cave while you're in a water walk state, you are still walking. That's how that one works. Then Moon Pearl just does not check Link's state when he exits the cave, so it exits the cave in a water walk state. And then you just walk right back in and you are still walking. You can do either, you can do both, but it's one or the other is required. Both lets you do some silly things to get to the Zora ledge that I'm not going to go into right now because it's not going to come up for these guys.
Yeah. But we are going to be seeing simultaneous checks of Hyrule Castle right now.
Yeah, and I think with the boots being slightly earlier on Nep's side, we do see a slight advantage to her because the check difference at this point, Nep's done the Ice Rock Cave plus the water checks to, well, part of the water checks to TjMaelstrom Zagina. I mean, that is divergent checks, but I would call the water plus Ice Rock Cave a little bit slower on average.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's definitely more stuff for sure, and just that.
Yep, but it does show the fact that they are pretty much same room going through the castle here, that Nep did get a little bit of an advantage getting those boots a couple minutes earlier.
Mm-hmm. And even though I'm entering the castle after TJ, kind of making up a little bit just on execution as well. Kind of just shaving off those seconds even more.
Yeah, although actually, did Nep do the dam?
I think he did, yeah.
Yeah, because I don't see the mirror on the tracker, but not setting up a death warp either. Okay, no, I don't think.
Yeah, I guess not.
So you don't really want a death warp on like 6 hearts red mail. That is incredibly slow, even against the ball and chain guard. So Nep just going to take the save and quit. And I mean, the Dark Cross that TjMaelstrom is doing here is out of logic. So it's not likely to get ahead on progression here. And it's something that Nep can do from the back after finding a glove. But it's just something else that she'll have to go back to.
Yeah.
Now let's see. There is a setup for this chest in the dark where you bonk against the torch, and it looks like that's exactly what Maelstrom is trying to do here. Oh, no. Ooh, got the key, and it's going to go all the way to the back.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, Nep
So
is going to get the mirror right here at the very least.
Yeah, not actually going to do much immediately, just because we don't have any way to the mountain. But the next progression got to be in the Eastern Palace area, because that's really all we've got left. And if that progression is exactly the lamp, it could just mean lamp come back to the castle for the back of the sewers, get the glove maybe?
That could be it, yeah. That's one thing I was actually thinking about, is that, you know, a fire source would put all of what TJ's doing in logic right now. So, you know, if just one of those items is over there, could just pick all these up. Looks like we have you mentioned the glove, so
Yeah, and the glove is really unique in that regard, because for most runners, that is your usual access to those 3 chests in the back sewers, just because doing it from the front is kind of slow.
And another interesting thing about the glove being there is, like, you can kind of piece the progression kind of right here, because if you get the lamp, for example, that also kind of means, oh, well, you can also go up the mountain now that we have the glove. So maybe TJ just follows this up to the mountain and kind of goes up there, knows that potentially the lamp or fire rod could be, you know, or, well, the lamp, I guess, in this case, could be just in the Eastern Palace area.
Yeah. Also, chat reminding us, we did find a book, so it could just go into the desert. That's potential for progression, too. And also that half magic on the ledge, which is not really needed, but definitely nice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just a piece of heart on that lumberjack ledge, so we're not killing Aghanim to get that, at least. TJ not going up the mountain. I do kind of get it, because when you've got the mirror, you kind of want the hammer so that you can get to the east side first. Oh,
Right.
there's other glove. Okay, so we don't actually have, like, forced trip through the sewers to get to the 3 chests in the back of the sewers. That's a little sad. I like seeds like that.
Yeah. But yeah, that is a good point. That other glove is actually in logic, unlike the glove we found on TJ's side.
Yeah, and the one in the desert being in logic does put the one TJ found in logic. Just
Well, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And then on TJ's side, we did get the information from Sahasrara that the green pendant is in Thieves Town. Which honestly, Pendant Thieves Town always feels bad just because it's a reasonably fast dungeon, and especially in a boss shuffle mode specifically. If you've managed to get to it in go mode somehow, you don't actually have to escort the maiden. You can just go straight to the boss room and the boss is already there.
Yeah.
But since it's a pendant, you don't want to do that anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like TJ setting up another water walk here. I wonder where he's going with this one. I don't ever see this in the light world. Oh, wait, I see his rupee count. He's going to take the whirlpool right here and water walk to Zora with it.
Okay,
This is really good heads-up play and routing from him.
Mm-hmm.
Or no, actually, Ice Rod Cave, which is actually in logic and just as isolated.
Yeah, that's true. This was kind of a way to get there quicker, at least from where he was before anyway, so...
Yeah, and then he can use the water walk out of... He can set up the water walk out of Ice Rod Cave, like we saw from Net before.
And then just
and
completely...
get Zora.
And yeah, completely get the Zora area, too.
Meanwhile, on Nep's side, I mean, we got the glove out of desert. She hopped back in after getting the half magic off the ledge, but nothing really to know. I don't even remember if there was... Well, I guess, obviously, Matt Compass Shuffle, yes, there were items over there, but nothing of note.
Mm-hmm.
And Chad asking how long we follow logic as the runners here. Both of these runners actually are making in logic checks. Both gloves in logic, so King's Tomb. And then glove put Zora as well. And Nep's going to be off to the Dark World.
And unfortunately, 500 rupees for just a 20 rupee.
Yeah, that feels bad if you're TJ, because he's going into Eastern Palace. It's unfortunate. We know that the glove he's looking for is in Desert.
Mm-hmm.
But Eastern Palace is still going to be, like, 4 items minimum. I think exactly 4 items, actually, because the boss can't have the big key.
Yeah, yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm a liar. Nep's not going to the Dark World. Nep's going up the mountain.
Once again, we are out of logic again. I mean, assuming we don't find anything in Eastern that would have potentially put this stuff here.
Yeah, Lamp would put it entirely in logic. Flute would make the old man rescue that Nep's doing not in logic, but it's still good to do for the save and quit point on top of being a check.
Yeah, save and quit, and it's not too hard to pull off either.
Yeah, Piece of Heart, not the greatest reward for it, but Nep not even going to bother going and checking Spec Rock.
Okay, get the Ether Medallion inside Eastern Palace.
That's another one of those could be useful way down the line, but has no immediate implications, especially with already
Right.
having Quake, which for combat purposes does 98% of the same thing. And that was 3 crystals: Turtle Rock, Mire, Pod, all crystals, with Pod being a red one, it looked like.
That's what I saw. So, yep. Oh, there's one of our 300s inside the treasure chest game.
Oh, and we got the Eastern map at some point, because I see that TjMaelstrom's display showing that little P, meaning Pendant Dungeon.
And Eastern's generally a pendant that you don't really mind getting too much. And, oh, okay, well, we got the hammer inside Thieves Town. That's good. But yeah, Eastern very quick to check. You know, like you said, 4 items will potentially get here, or will get here at least. So pick those up and may not have to come back.
Yeah, and I think that may not have to come back is probably the most critical part right now for TjMaelstrom.
Right.
Especially because, ooh, that's nice.
That is nice, and unfortunately, I think you need the lamp to put that in logic, though, so...
Yeah, you do. So, TJ not necessarily incentivized to take it to rush the mountain.
Exactly, yeah.
Makes it real easy for him to get over to desert, which is where we do know he does need to be.
Yeah, so that is a good find in that regard. Yeah, I'd say
it's one of those things. When does Nep go to Eastern Palace, anyways? Like, there's no reason to.
Not anytime soon, at the very least. As we do see there is a cold stare in Thieves Town. Cannot battle that right now.
Yep, and Nep is not going for the stuff in the back, despite finding that hammer, so... And yep, exactly as I thought. TjMaelstrom not going to the mountain here with that Logic Flute. Is going to get the mitts and can take those to King's Tomb. It's the only check they open up. Get that pearl. Meanwhile, I see Nep's got the mirror equipped. I don't think we're going to see the mirror to race game for, what was that, the red boomerang, but it is hypothetically there.
Yeah, this is probably more so for
the Smiths afterwards.
Smiths. Yeah, likely Smiths, since probably won't go to Cave 45 until taking the purple chest.
Right. Also, we did see Nep ignore 2 of the 3 shields. Unfortunately, one of them was in a chest. Can't really ignore that one. But have to imagine that as soon as she gets down to the South Dark World, where those pickets are, gonna get it eaten.
Yeah.
Having a little bit of trouble with the hammer dashes there. Just a bit, though.
Ooh, cape. Okay, that's good. We haven't seen the northern part of the Dark World yet, so that can be handy.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see it particularly soon.
Nah,
Nep's going to focus on the purple chest turn-in and the Hype Cave loop. But maybe right after that, alongside Skullwoods.
And that's something we can quickly check too, as well. We have a bottle now.
Yep. TjMaelstrom going for the checkerboard cave here. Checkerboard cave is in logic, but the Mire shed is not. And Misery and Mire we can't even get in, even if we had the pearl, because it's the one medallion we don't have. TjMaelstrom going to take a second here to try to do Super Bunny into the Meyer shed.
Oh, also, yeah, it's not, and checkerboard's not in logic because of the flute being in the big key room.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. I do gotta wonder though, because this Super Bunny is like a same frame. You mirror the same frame that you enter the entrance, and you get Super Bunny out of it. But it's not super easy, as TJ's demonstrating here, and I was kind of wondering how long he was going to go for it, but he's got it.
Yeah. Once you start seeing those dash lines, you know you got it.
Yep. See the dash lines or hear your sword swing. Although in this case, we're using Nep's audio. And we're going to see Nep leave the purple chest behind here because you leave it behind in the dark world, and then you mirror in the light world sufficiently close to the guy that turns it in. What do you call him, a locksmith? And the game just kind of ignores the fact that it wasn't actually following you and that you left it behind.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and there's the lamp. Okay, well, that flute technically would be in logic for Nep once Nep gets the 2 Eastern. And that flute will lead to our second sword upgrade as well. TJ did find that in Checkerboard Cave.
Yeah, unfortunately, so far the sword only leading to triple boom, which is 3 bombs. Is Nep going back into desert? Considered going for the boss, but decided I don't think we know what the boss is there, and we don't even know if it's a crystal or the last pendant, so decided not to.
Mm-hmm. And thankfully, with our item loadout right now, it's just very easy to get back to the back of desert anyway.
Yep, and it's also very easy to get back to this Dark World portal to go to Hype Cave and continue the Dark World trip.
Mm-hmm.
Now we've got TJ on the mountain, has the mirror, but doesn't have hammer or hookshot, so no way to get to the east side of the mountain. But could kill Moldor. Well, I say Moldorm. Could kill the boss at the top of Tower of Hera, potentially. Just kind of depends on where that big key is.
Right. Gonna get some more intel. Looks like Skullwoods is the other 5/6 crystal.
Yep, so we are missing info on one pendant is really all at this point, because everything else is going to be crystals.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got both runners in the same spot on the mountain. Maelstrom with super speed, Nep just dashing. Spectacle Rock just junk, but Hera potentially up to 4 items. Guaranteed 4 items. Well, I say guaranteed, but Nep could, if Nep can beat the boss, it's guaranteed 4. And if not, it's still going to be 3. Meanwhile, TjMaelstrom, no fire, could get locked out after just 2 checks.
Right. We do get a check on the Ether tablet, though, and we get just some bombs. More triple boom.
Yep, 6 bombs across 2 tablets, so that sword not really coming into play for TjMaelstrom right now, except as a combat advantage.
And depending on the boss, that combat advantage could be significant. But again, there could be a lot of different bosses on here.
Oh, good. A mushroom. Big key does mean we are not locked out. I don't think I saw a boss on Nep's side there. Did you see one?
I did not see one. No, yeah, you don't have the
Yeah.
compass because it doesn't show the
Oh,
item
yeah.
checks.
Yep. So we are just in for a surprise once we get to the top. There is a fairly limited selection of bosses that can be up there, but it could be something like a Cold Stare, even if we've already seen one of those in Thieves Town.
That's right, but I mean, we know that like there could be a second Cold Stare, so that is still a possibility. Not super likely, but it could still be here.
Yeah, there are 3 bosses in the item pool, or in the shuffled boss pool, that will appear twice. And that's the small key, meaning that TjMaelstrom gonna be leaving at least 1 item behind unless he can pull a fire rod off the boss to light torches with.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let us see what boss we have here. Ooh, well, it's beatable.
I am pretty sure beating this is in logic, too.
Yeah.
It sucks, but it's in logic.
I actually do like what Nep's doing right here. Kind of sticking to the back, taking the lightning attacks out of play, using the hammer for some extra damage.
Yeah, meanwhile, TJ playing more aggressively with throwing bombs in alongside his spin attacks, which the spin attacks actually do the same damage as the hammer, and have the potential to hit twice, but Net being on the fighter sword, the hammer is gonna be a lot more damage than what she can pump out otherwise.
Oh, for sure.
So yeah, this sword advantage actually coming in huge for TJ right now.
Mm-hmm. And one thing coming in handy for both runners is the fact that we did pick up the red mail already, so even if they do get hit, it's not doing too much. It could be doing a lot more.
Yep, but now TJ gotta play it at least somewhat safe here. Poking the eye doesn't do anything, and even if the red mail's gonna save on damage, could still get knocked into a pit. And there's Vitreous down for TjMaelstrom for just a heart container. And a crystal, which we already knew about.
Mm-hmm. And that finishes not too far behind, making real good use of those hammer hits, especially on the second phase as well.
Yeah, definitely really well done on both runners' parts. Nep with the creativity and the great use of the hammer. TJ doing real well with the Master Sword there. Unfortunately, TJ can't go to the east side of the mountain like Nep can here. Nor can he get whatever items in the basement.
Mm-hmm. Do get another compass. Get the compass to Dark Palace inside the potion shop.
Yeah, it's been over a year of this mode at this point, going back to last tournament, and it still amuses me to no end that runners will actively pick up compasses.
I know, but it's it's good that like they have that like feature now, because I don't think that was a thing until like it was definitely a thing before last tournament, obviously, but even like before then, like it wasn't the feature for too long, and before then just there was like no reason to pick up compasses at all, so it's nice to kind of see them get some love for a change.
Yep, definitely agree on that.
Okay, well, just 10 arrows at the basement of Hera, so at the very least, like, if TJ does not go back for that, that is going to be some saved time on his end.
Yep, so works out well for him. We also see the Bombos medallion there in Skull Woods. That both lets us into Misery Mire, which is a crystal, so we do need it. And it also lets us kill Cold Stare.
Oh, yeah, that's true. It does, yeah.
Actually, Blind's room is one of the boss rooms without spikes in it, so... Oh, I saw a crystal on Ice Palace in that map check.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did pick up that map not too long ago. So we get, well, we know what the boss of Thieves Town is, but I guess TJ doesn't quite know that yet, so...
Yep. And he will be able to know without having to walk into the room.
Right, right.
Meanwhile, we do have, it looks like Quake opens up Turtle Rock, so that Ether Medallion from Eastern Palace not coming into play. Which still raises the question, when does Nep go there and get the flute? How soon does she need to? How soon will she?
Based on their item loadout right now, a bow would definitely give some incentive of heading into that area in general, because then you take care of Palace of Darkness, and then, you know, potentially check out those items while you're over there in Eastern.
Yeah, I guess it really is just for Nep, especially with the mirror. Whenever you go to Palace of Darkness is when you go do Eastern as well.
Mm-hmm.
But just, especially with no bow, that area is not really incentivized right now.
Yeah.
But at the same time, what does Nep... Well, I guess Nep's got Super Bunny Cave and the one bonk chest in the Dark World here. But what else? I guess Skull Woods, and that will lead into a fake flipper ice palace if she wants.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Oh, wait.
she can't even do anything, but...
I'm doing things out of order here. Nep already did Super Bunny, doing Paradox now. I'm sorry. I'm silly.
It's okay. That and Nep can't even do anything in Ice Palace right now without a fire, or either Bombos or Fire out in the first room, so...
Well, no, but that's why I mentioned Skull Woods, because Bombos is there.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Well, there's that bow, by the way.
Okay, so there goes that idea. That's now a full clearable Palace of Darkness, assuming Nep can kill the boss.
Mm-hmm.
Also, chat pointing out that I completely missed, we do have Blind on the conveyor in Skull Woods.
That's not too bad. I mean, especially in that we know that Cape's, like, in the picture, and also half magic, so...
Yeah, if you have Cape, you have half magic, you enter with sword beams available. It's not too bad.
Yeah.
Could be worse for sure. Now, TJ headed into Thieves Town here. Gonna get that hammer, but question is, how much of the back is he gonna loot? Nep skipped it entirely and could not kill the boss, so... Oh, actually, speaking of Cape and Hammer, we do see Spike Cave here.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very often left behind check, so it's always interesting when it has something. Looks like today is not that day for Spike Cave, though.
No.
And for chat asking about the flute was behind the dark rooms in Eastern Palace, which TjMaelstrom visited early. Nep did not. Presumably, Nep is going to visit it pretty shortly here in combination with Palace of Darkness, but
Yeah.
probably Pod first would be my guess.
Yeah, definitely Pod first at this point. But TJ is hopping into the Cold Stare fight.
Now the question is, once he wins the fight, will he go back in after? I would imagine probably not, just because he does have a lot left, but it would be interesting if he did, especially because Nep did not. There's one puff down.
Definitely making sure that if you're gonna take damage in this fight, you want to take it to those the falling icicles, because those will do much less damage than Cold Stare itself.
Yep. But even on Red Mail, getting just face
Yeah.
Cold Stare is not the worst. And it enables that very aggressive hammer play that TjMaelstrom was doing.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, exactly.
Definitely made very good time on the boss considering his loadout.
Yeah, Nep is for sure entering Palace of Darkness now. We'll find some new information here on her side.
No boss information, though. We don't have that compass.
And TJ not picking up that shield either.
Yeah, I'm not super surprised.
I'm not either.
There's a fairly large contingent of the high caliber runners in this tournament that just do not like shields.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Nep got a bug net in the first chest in the shooter room here, which is not a key, so had to come to this side to be able to progress in the dungeon at all. I think this is going to be a key as well. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2 more keys to find in the front 3 chests, and then minimum 2 more. And then the remaining 2 probably in the back.
Ooh, found the hook shot here in Palace of Darkness.
That means we're just flippers away from being able to probably full clear Swamp Palace, probably contingent on the boss. Which actually, at this point, Nep can kill every boss. Well, I say Nep. Actually, TJ is the one that can kill every boss except Trinex. Well, I don't know. He can't kill Argus. Nep can't kill Trinex. Nep can't kill Cold Stare either. But regardless, items are good, and we're finding them. And so when we know where the ice rod is here, we are potentially, well, okay, that's kind of important. That's one of the items I was going to talk about. But now with that cane in hand, between the 2 runners, we are potentially actually just fire rod from go mode. I say potentially because we know where the ice rod is, and even though it's behind the flippers, there is a water walk set up to get to it that I'm pretty sure both of these runners know. TJ definitely knows it because he did the light world equivalent earlier.
Right.
But I'm pretty sure Nep can do it as well. And if Swamp Palace is our last pendant, then we don't actually need those flippers. Of course, gambling on Swamp Palace being the pendant there is always a risky proposition.
Mm-hmm.
But either of these runners at any time could just go choose to kill the boss in the back of desert and find out that way.
Yeah, that's literally the only other piece of information we still need from dungeon rewards, and that's a very quick thing to do. So
yeah, we see the boss of Eastern Palace is an Argus. Which actually, did we get info on the pod boss?
I don't think we did because
See, I was thinking that we did, I missed it, and that's why Nep bailed. I guess with Nep not being able to beat either Cold Stare or Trinex at this point, it would be a bit of a slog to get back there only to find out that you can't.
But, right.
Yeah, and then on TJ's screen, while we were thinking about that, He showed off another sequence. Well, I say sequence break. He's got the hammer, so it's in logic to get over here, but a little shortcut with the kern jump. He jumped into the water while holding the bomb blew him into the screen transition, and he used that to get fake flippers. Oh. And that's why we didn't know Eastern was a pendant until we were inside it. The map was... I think that was just vanilla.
Yeah, it was like right there. Yeah, I want to say that even is the map chest too, yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember if the map chest in vanilla is the one on the right, or if it's that one, but one's the map, the other's the compass.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, TJ in Hype Cave here, but I'm pretty sure there was just nothing of note here.
Yeah, that was where that Ice Palace map was.
Right. So now it's really just on TJ to get back to the mountain, to get that bow, to incentivize him over to Pod, to get the cane, to go to Meyer. Seems like the next obvious play to me.
Yeah, that does seem like a very good play at this point.
I guess TJ does also have the green pendant turn in to do, which is just another reason to draw him over to that area. But would ideally like to see him go there with the bow first, just so that he can get to the boss of Pod, which Nep is now going back in for.
Yeah, and after seeing this, I do kind of understand this play now a little more, because, yeah, at this point, you know, might as well just check Eastern really quick, see if potentially, like, I do get that, like, an item, like a fire rod or bombos or something, to see if I can, if this Bass does happen to be Cold Stare, for example. So
Yeah, or even just the compass so that you can know what that boss is.
Right, that too.
But yeah, this statue and this moving wall is why we cannot sequence break the bow for Pod in any no major glitches mode.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of annoying, but the wall moving cutscene is more annoying than the bow requirement, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's like, I can see the staircase, is that enough? But no, you still have a few seconds even after that.
TjMaelstrom getting bombs number 4, 5, and 6 from the tablets here. We'll see what happens next. I expect the mountain. Nope. See, going into Meyer. Or could this just be the back of Desert?
Could be the back of Desert clear, just to, because I want to say that TJ does have like all the other pieces of info.
Oh, and we found the Trinex. Need that fire rod.
Yep.
TJ playing the info game here. We do see the crystal at Desert on Nep's map, though, so we know this is going to pay off for TJ in more ways than one, assuming the boss isn't a Trinex or an Argus.
Yep, and that means that Swamp Palace is our last pendant, so like you said, those flippers potentially may not be relevant. I mean, there's still a bunch of items in Swamp, but at least for right now, kind of not thinking about that.
Yeah, because between the two runners, the only item we are missing that we actually need is the fire rod.
Right.
We hit the fire rod, we are just in go mode. We can kill every single boss, we can get every single crystal.
Mm-hmm.
And here's a Mothula, much less threatening in a room without conveyors and spikes.
Yeah.
And much easier to beat on things like the hammer with no spikes to absorb the damage.
Right. Oh, yeah, and that's where the pod compass was. Yeah, I do that too now.
Yeah. Can't really be happy about finding the compass to a dungeon that you already visited the boss for.
You literally just saw the boss like less than a minute too. Like it's unfortunate.
And this is unfortunate for TJ here. Going into Meyer without the cane. So, not going to be able to kill the boss. Nep going in and is going to be able to kill it unless it's a second Trinex.
The thing is, though, is that Nep doesn't have the bombos to open Meyer.
Oh, wait. You're right. I forgot Nep has not been to Skull Woods yet. I keep thinking we combine the runners' inventories and we're in really, really good shape. But...
Yeah, I know. I'd like to, can I take a little bit of TJ's and a little bit of Nep's screen and be even closer? But
Yep, TJ got that Bombus, and I mean, Nep could hypothetically try to avoid Skull Woods until the Fire Rod, which...
Right.
We know that won't really work out unless the... Well, actually, I'm trying to think, is there anywhere that the Fire Rod could even be? I guess in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I could potentially be there.
So chat's asking about PED. We have not actually seen it. Both tablets were triple boom, though, which is where that response came from, I would assume. Nep gonna kill a moth. PJ gonna just continue rolling through Misery Mire here, get everything out of the front, and just have to come back for whatever the boss is later.
Mm-hmm.
₹20, which means that this cutscene chest is not going to be a... Presumably not going to be a big Keeks. But... I'm going to check it regardless, because, I mean, it can't be a map... Well, it could be a map or a compass, but it's not like there's map compass just in the dungeon.
Mm-hmm. Nep does pick up her second sword.
Yeah, equalizing the swords about, what, 30, 35 minutes later.
Yeah, but made really good use of the hammer during that time, so it didn't really... I wouldn't say it made up, like, that much of an advantage, all things considering.
Yeah, like, the biggest place where it probably mattered was the Vitreous fight at the top of Tower of Hera, but Nep made brilliant use of the hammer by just not jumping down into the main arena.
Yeah, exactly. But Nep is heading over to Skull Woods now, so we'll pick up the Bombos medallion. That could send them right back to Meyer and would actually be able to finish the dungeon.
Yeah, good news for TJ here is that the big key is in the worst possible place, which means that Nep is quite likely to full clear it as well. So it just means the only time that TJ really loses on this is the time it takes to get back through the first couple rooms, which is not a ton of time.
Right.
So good use of the door state extension there to just dash through that rail and not have to run all the way around.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's really nice.
Yeah, and for people who are not really familiar with that trick, it is actually fundamentally the same glitch as the Icebreaker trick in Ice Palace that most people are pretty familiar with. But it's just, you extend the act of Link being in the door, so the game thinks you're in a door and it doesn't interrupt your movement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it looks like we just got a bottle inside Misery Mire, so...
Which, third one, so not super valuable, super critical.
No, but TJ is heading in the right direction now. Going to be going up the mountain. We'll get the bow, which... and the hookshot was up here, too. Oh, no. Hookshot was in pod. But
yeah,
that bow will take him in that direction of both hookshot and Samaria.
Yep, and with him already having looted everything in Misery Mire, I would actually assume that TJ's next play would be Mountain now, Eastern Pod afterwards, if he wants to kill the Eastern boss, which he might not. And then straight back to the Mountain.
Yep, go right back to Turtle Rock at that point.
Yeah, Turtle Rock plus 3 items in Hookshot Cave. Turtle Rock might lock you out pretty quick depending on key layout, though. No Fire Rod, but that's the only thing we're hunting for anyways at this point.
Yeah.
And Nep is going for the Ice Rod using the water walk that we discussed earlier.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess the question at this point, having done this, if you are Nep and you find the flippers, how quick do you go into Swamp?
Well, at this point, like I'd definitely consider Ice Palace first, more than likely. Because I mean, it's a crystal dungeon; you got to clear it. You know, it could easily be there, for example. I say definitely do that first, and then potentially start thinking about Swamp because it is really good density. It's 8 items, especially with the map and compass being taken out of the equation. So, you know, it's a very, very big area for stuff to be found.
Yep. I mean, it's Swamp is often a density play, even in regular modes, but
Yeah.
adding on those 2 to make 8 definitely helps. And for chat asking, while TJ goes for that bonk chest and Nep does Meyer 2, Nep is using a Omori MSU pack.
And if we do ever switch over to TJ, they are using the Street Fighter Alpha 2 MSU.
And we saw on Nep's screen there, we do have our first duplicate boss of the seed, another moth in the back of Misery Mire.
Mafia just making themselves home here in the mire and desert area, I guess.
Yeah, pretty funny actually, but a bit unfortunate for TJ because it means that yes, Nep can kill that boss, is not going to have to come back to this dungeon.
Right.
And while TJ going for Paradox Cave here, then after that the question is just Spike Cave, yes or no. And actually, TJ left the portal at the bottom of the mountain or up at the top? I don't even remember.
I already I've been watching the upside, so I did not notice.
If he left it at the bottom, then seems like a clear no on Spike Cave to me, but it might still be up the top. He might have done it before Spiral Cave. I think he did even. Okay. There's the bow that's going to pull him over to Eastern Pod regardless. And no Spike Cave, just S&Q.
Yep.
S&Q to the mountain, get your free heal off the old man, and then just float away. Faster than doing it out of the sanctuary, even with the mirror.
Right. Yeah, and unfortunately, still no Fire Rod, so TJ not going to be able to get rid of that Trinex at the end of Dark Palace either, but, you know, like you said, I think going to the mountain after this is like the clear play at this point.
Yeah, and TJ has that pod compass as well off the mushroom.
Oh yeah, so that won't even need to look at that or go all the way to the boss to see what it is.
Yeah, slight time save over now. Also, we'll have this green pendant turn in that could be a Fire Rod, but it's not.
No.
It's one of those, it could be anything. It could even be a Fire Rod sort of situations.
Yeah.
But that, at this point, applies to literally every new check we pull until we find it.
Mm-hmm.
And actually, with Nep already having done the water walk for the Ice Rod and gotten that Bombos, if Nep finds it, that's just straight go mode.
Yeah.
TJ gonna be in a similar situation after getting the hook shot and Samari out of here, because he does know where the Ice Rod is, and he has already shown he knows how to get it. Just needs to actually go do so. but that knowledge does mean he won't be doing any extra checks looking for flippers for it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, unfortunately for Nep here, no fire rod means no spooky action at a distance, which means gotta bomb open this wall. Little bit annoying, but you live with it. And TJ about to get his hook shot out of that chest on the platform up there. Nep gonna kill a moth, give us a new check here, but this goo does damage, and Nep not super healthy. This is a good solution, though.
Yeah. This is probably one of the only other arenas that Mothula could actually be kind of threatening in, especially if they stay in the back wall. But with that cape,
yeah,
it's not a big deal. Get the crystal. That is crystal number 3 for Nep.
Yeah, number 3, cannot go back to Skull Woods to get 4. Cannot get 4 out of pod either because it's Trinex. But Ice Palace, even with no flippers in hand, likely be the next play here.
And see, this would actually be, you know, it would be a nice find if it was here, because then it's like, okay, well, maybe the flippers are in Turtle Rock, and that's the progression to get to this point, so you're kind of skipping a step, which is kind of nice, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, and chat talking about Turtle Rock being iffy. You would require a very, very specific key layout in Turtle Rock. Was that another Vitreous that I saw?
That's what it looked like, yeah.
Yeah. So Turtle Rock, it actually is theoretically possible to reach the boss, but it specifically requires no keys on the right side.
Right.
The fire rod lock side, which is just super unlikely with how front-loaded keys tend to be in that dungeon, just because of the very linear layout of it.
Right.
Yeah, and for a follow-up on the Turtle Rock key layout discussion, Fire Rod could hypothetically be in Turtle Rock as far as the laser bridge if the keys line up.
Yeah, you'd have to get like a key in that first room on the left and a key in the chain chomps to kind of keep things moving.
Yeah, and then you would need the big key to be vanilla after that.
Right.
And then I believe also a small key in the big chest and on the crystal roller room. So you would basically need it to be only keys until you get to Laser Bridge. Otherwise, you can't get there.
Yeah.
But you could replace any one of those keys with the Fire Rod, which would be the game forcing you to go back to those Fire Rod lock chests.
Oh, definitely.
And if the keys do lay out specifically in this specific mode with the boss shuffled, and the boss is not vanilla Trinex, you could even have Fire Rod on the boss, forcing you to go back
That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's very true.
But the chances of that are incredibly slim.
Hey, I'm all about those kind of chances. Like that's just that's it's in my name, you could say.
Yes, you're right. And speaking of chances, we've got 4 bosses still missing in action, which are incidentally the first 4 dungeon bosses that a player would fight casually.
That is true, yeah. I also think it's kind of interesting with Nep's color palette rando. Yeah, kind of makes this dungeon look like Misery Mire a little bit. It's like Vitreous's influence kind of turned it green a bit.
Yeah, and it's kind of cool looking, honestly. At least in my opinion. But yeah, we do see Nep only having 5 out of 8 item checks. Left behind Ice-T, left behind one other check that I'm not sure which one it even was. Does have the crystal, but no fire rod to show for it.
Yeah, it looks like it was the freezer room.
Kind of surprised, because that one is pretty easy check to just grab as you walk through it, but we are going to see Ice-T from TJ here, and if it's the fire rod, Nep is just leaving it behind.
Yeah.
I do think that this is a fairly reasonable gamble, but it is just one that... Okay, I mean, Nep wins that gamble, but it did feel a little bit unnecessary to me.
Right. Definitely something we could ask if they'd join in for an interview or anything.
Yeah. Always interesting to hear what's on the runners' minds when they make decisions like that, especially these top-level racers that pretty much everything they do, I mean, they've at least got something on their mind when they're doing it. They don't just do it unjustifiably on a whim.
Right. And ultimately... go ahead.
In fairness, sometimes that reason is literally just, whoops, I forgot.
Right.
And that does happen even to the best of them.
Oh, for sure, yeah. And I was just going to say that, like, it could be just, a wane of the different options. I mean, did Ice Palace out of logic anyway? And, you're likely to find something up here, like either the flippers or the fire rod itself, that'll push you somewhere else. So it could have just kind of felt like, well, this is probably the gamble I kind of need to make right now.
And speaking of finding something, that Tempered Sword, a very nice combat option. Would have been great to have for that Vitreous fight, but both runners got through it pretty well using the cape and the Master Sword spins.
Yeah, Vitreous does, at least in some of these boss rooms, gets honestly a bit easier because you don't have to worry about the goo as much in the back. You can kind of, navigate around the eyeballs a little more from the back. So,
yeah, the flip side to that, though, is that you can't use the goo for damage boosting strats.
That's true, yeah. Oh, well, okay, and there is nothing in Turtle Rock that we can't progress, so...
We are just straight locked out until we get the fire rod.
Yeah, so where are these flippers right now?
Back at Thieves Town is what it sounded like to me. Like, TjMaelstrom killed the boss, but neither runner went to the back for those 3 checks.
Oh, that's true, yeah. Fire Rod could just be in the back, honestly.
And we do have the Eastern Palace boss still on the table here, too, which Nep is actually approaching from the Dark World. Gonna mirror to Eastern, kill the Argus. That way, she's got the mirror portal right there. Never mind. I'm just... Pyramid. We saw Catfish earlier from TJ. I don't think we saw Pyramid, though. Meanwhile, TJ headed straight for the boss here of the Mothula that we just saw. Well, not just saw, but we did see Net kill this a little while ago now.
And there it is. On the pyramid the whole time.
Yep, and that is go mode for Nep. And yeah, not even just gonna take the flute and... Actually, yeah, this is faster, I'm pretty sure. Almost certainly.
So yeah, just gonna go up through here, knock out Trinex here at Dark Palace, and go get blind at Skull Woods.
And then just make the run through Turtle Rock.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, it's not like there's any worry about the Ganon's Tower bosses, which,
Right.
I mean, we know that the bosses that can be in the Moldorm arenas are fairly limited, which means that it's going to be either an Armos, or not an Armos, it's not going to be an Armos, it's not going to be Land Molas, so it's either going to be Vanilla Moldorm, Helmasaur, or a duplicate that we haven't yet seen. Our third duplicate is the last one up at the very top.
Right, yeah.
And then in the middle of GT, at the end of the gauntlet, could be anything. But the ice fight, I mean, we can do it. We don't want to see Trinex down there just because that's a pain, but otherwise, it's kind of whatever.
Right.
And of course, saying we don't want to see it down there assumes that we have to go down there, which... GT Big Key search.
Okay, so yeah, it looks like TJ is going to go back up the mountain. Going to get locked out immediately of that first chest in TR, but we'll likely grab the Tempered Sword from Hookshot Cave at the very least, so we'll be seeing that.
Yeah, I can't imagine that TJ goes into Turtle Rock before Hookshot Cave. Not that it really matters since there's no combat to do in Turtle Rock.
Yeah.
But just with the 3 items sitting there in Hookshot Cave, just do those first in case it's a Fire Rod.
Yeah, for sure. Also, Trinex looks so much bigger in these smaller boss rooms.
Yeah, that's something that you don't typically notice, is just how much bigger. Like, sure, you notice that it's bigger, but it just how much bigger doesn't really stand out until you do something like this and you fight them in a different room.
Yeah, it literally takes up like a fourth of the arena in this case.
Yeah, and then the spikes in the back definitely don't help.
Oh, for sure.
Which actually, that's something about boss shuffle modes. Many of the bosses are just vulnerable to the spike damage, and if you hit them into the spikes, it'll just convert the damage into Gold Sword. It's the exact same principle that Mothula works on, but Mothula is just immune. But you can knock an Armos Knight or an Argus or a Cold Stare Puff, or even I think a big Vitreous Eye into those spikes, and they will just take tons of damage.
Yeah, definitely you can with Vitreous. I haven't seen that before.
Yeah, and it can make for some real interesting strats if you get the right boss in the right arena there. And here's TJ right about to be locked out of Turtle Rock. Very unfortunate for him.
Yeah.
So now I guess the question is, not that we need them, but where are the flippers? Are we going to find them in Skull Woods or in Turtle Rock? It's probably one of the two. It has to be one of the two.
I'd say Turtle Rock at this point.
Yeah, it is possible that they're just in the Skull Woods bridge chest, and that just means we never see them.
Yeah.
Turtle Rock, we are likely to see them just because linear dungeon. TJ going back for that Hera basement, though.
Right, and we'll probably see a Spike Cave right after this, too, because I don't think TJ went to Spike Cave, just Nep.
That's correct, yep. And it's one of those things, when you're on a single item hunt, it's mentally pretty tough to leave anything behind.
Yeah.
And here's blind with about, what is that, 2/3 of a half magic bar, but no sword beams to use. So just putting on the cape and going. Good news is that since it's not moth, the spikes don't move.
Right.
But that does mean that blind is like always on top of them, just because
Yeah.
typically at the top. So yeah, actually, I mean, we were talking about it earlier as if it wasn't that big of a deal, but blind is probably actually the worst boss to have in this arena.
Right. I guess when I said that earlier, I was kind of speaking more in just the context of, well, we have cape and have magic, so it'll be pretty free in that regard. But yeah, otherwise, yeah, it's pretty much a bullet hell, just like kind of what the moth fight normally is.
Yeah, just kind of cranked up in difficulty because you can't get up there to do the damage. You've really got to enter that fight on like sword beams or Burna.
Right.
But Nep's got it down, and that is 6 crystals. All that's left is Turtle Rock, and then right on over to GT.
TJ is still going to be on that fire rod hunt.
Yep, I mean, he's just cleaning up all the loose squares at this point. Not really anything else to do except try to be as efficient about it as he can. But we know it's on the pyramid, which for him is probably the loosest square of all, with him already having done Catfish.
Yeah, yeah. It's looking like this is going to be kind of like just like a bit of a wraparound, kind of the Southern Dark World a little bit to that pyramid location.
Yeah, because he's already done Graveyard Ledge, did that on the way over, but already done all the South Dark World stuff too. I would sooner expect Mirror and Flute to 5 actually, if if Pyramid's going to be his next check, and I'm not sure what else he's got left.
And then, of course, there's still the possibility we could run into those flippers in here too.
Oh yeah, and if that happens, he's like straight into Swamp. I can't see any other possibility. Just the sheer density is going to be way too tempting, I think.
Yeah, and you're going in that direction anyway.
Yeah, it's like in a slightly different item layout for this seed. This could potentially be a game-winning play for TJ.
Right, right.
It's just unfortunate that not this item layout.
He's going to get the silvers, which is nice, but looking for that fire rod.
Yeah, silvers are unfortunately a consolation prize at best, but we do know for sure now Nep not going to be getting them, even if she were to check extra chests, which I don't think she feels the need to. They're basically like, if they're literally right along the route while she's looking for keys here in Turtle Rock or in GT, sure. Otherwise,
Right, yeah.
I don't think she cares.
Mm-hmm. When you do kind of start thinking about like what potentially could be the optimal like routes for the seed and whatnot, you'd almost probably want to get that bow in Thieves Town before the one in the mountain, because then you could like lessen your mountain trips by getting that one as opposed to going all the way up there, going back down for Hookshot and Samaria, then just coming right back up later on for everything else. So
yeah, and if this were not a boss shuffle seed specifically, even with it being Pendant Turtle Rock or Pendant Thieves Town, I think that there is a reasonable world where several runners do that. Maybe not these two specifically. I don't really know their habits around playing Pendant Thieves Town. But I do know that there are a lot of runners that will aggressively play back of Pendant Thieves. Unfortunately, boss shuffle just super disincentivizes that, because you want to go in and check the boss, and then you can't leave and do the rest of the back.
yeah.
But we do see on Nep's side 2 small keys on the fire side, plus a small key in the chain chomp room, means that the big key was vanilla, which means that we can't really skip much of anything. But we do see TJ doing the exact same water walk we saw from Nep, and also the same one pretty much we saw from him early in the seed to check Ice Rod Cave. I'm going to use it to grab the actual Ice Rod here.
If that were me, like dashing through that water, I would like be totally just like hitting every piece of land and just ruining the water walk immediately.
TJ trying to set up a splash delete to hop off the island, but unfortunately there's really nowhere for those arrows to catch, so just gotta flute away.
Mm-hmm.
And there's Flippers. Second item in Turtle Rock. First one being the powder, which is just a very convenient refill at the top of GT at this point.
Right. Yeah, I have to imagine for TJ this is going to be up to the pyramid now, so...
Yeah, I think TJ is out of checks. And yeah, this is pyramid, so gonna be go mode for TJ as well. See him tear through Pod, tear through Skull Woods, tear through Turtle Rock.
Looks like Nep is going to be checking a few extra... Oh, needs to for that key, I suppose.
Right. And like chat saying, could have skipped the big chest if she wanted to. Would not have been punished for doing that. But odds definitely would not have been as in her favor as usual if she'd gone for that play with the vanilla big key.
Yeah.
And chat lamenting that we don't have the red boomerang. We did see that on both runners' screen, just neither one chose to get it. Here's Armos. Nep actually switching over to the fire rod to save a few arrows.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely got mimics on her mind. And that is 7 crystals down. I see numbers in Twitch chat. Why don't you tell us what that's about, Slim?
Okay, well, one thing we like to do whenever we watch one of these randomizer races, we like to guess what chest do you think the Ganon's Tower Big Key is going to be in? Numbered 1 through 22, there's 22 checks, so get your answers in to see if we can find out where that big key is located. I see a lot of people picking 8. I definitely approve of that.
Yeah, I do not see my favorite number in there, which is also just as good with me. Now let's see how TJ handles this blind fight. Got the cape equipped, got phase 1 down, no problem. Managed to grab hold of that block to save on some magic there. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Because Nep wasn't able to get that block grab at all, ran out of magic very prematurely.
Oh, really nice fight from TJ there, getting it done really, really quickly.
Yeah, definitely had a better time of it than Nep did. Which, speaking of Nep, straight left on Ganon's Tower. Has 3 keys.
Yeah, through 5. We're through 5 right now, so...
Yep, Pope Room 6 and 7. And then on to Compass Room after that. We will not be seeing the Tile Room quite yet. Unless Nep is crazy. Yeah, there's the dash straight through. So 8, 9, 10, 11 coming up.
Ooh, those berries getting in the way of that torch. Does manage to get it before the door closes, though.
Yeah, Nep having a bit of time with that one, but no problem.
Ooh, 8 indeed. Okay.
Yeah, so shoutouts to Zombie Shop and Crown Ether in chat, both giving that number. You guys won the guessing game. Good job.
Yep, and with that, we are just going to be heading straight up Ganon's Tower for Nep's side. Just enough arrows to make it through this first Mimic's room. We'll be able to get a restock pot in the next room, so...
Is going to have to be kind of careful, because if there's a BMO shot on the screen, then that can despawn, but nope, all good.
go.
Yep. And still 2 errors left for good measure. Meanwhile, TJ got the moving wall going on just a few rooms away from the Trinex back there. Gonna kill that, and then we'll be off to Turtle Rock himself with 6 crystals in hand.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, TJ unfortunately getting messed around a bit by sword beams there, even after taking a hit, because with red mail, those turtles do so little damage, you have to get hit twice to lose half a heart.
Yep, that's true.
And if you're on that 3/4 heart, it still shows you as full and still gives you sword beams.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Trinex number 2.
This is
double
especially
Trinex
annoying.
feature. 2 Trinexes on the stream right now.
Actually, yeah. But you see here, Neb missed the 2 Ice Rod shots to open up, having to burn that potion. But also, just Trinex in this room is really obnoxious because of that shooter.
Yeah, that shooter is really annoying.
Like, you see TjMaelstrom having a much better time of the Trinex fight here than Nep. And the arena is only part of that. Ooh, too early on the spin there, too, from Nep.
And I think that had to do with, like, the lag that was currently going on, too. I think that kind of messed up the timing a little bit.
Yeah, this fight on Nep's part is significantly laggier, so, like, if it sounds like I'm bashing for being slower than TJ on that fight, I mean, yes, the missed Ice Rod shots didn't help, but Nep was fighting a significant amount of lag in that fight that TJ wasn't. That fight was always going to be slower.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I believe that is all the double bosses, so we'll at least see one of the bosses we haven't seen yet.
No, that was our third duplicate, yeah. So
Yep.
it's either going to be Moldorm or Helma at the very top here. It can't be Landmola's. That fight does not work in that arena. So one of those 3 at the top, 1 in Swamp, and 1 on ice down in the GT basement.
Mm-hmm.
And we will never know which is which between Swamp and the basement, unless TJ goes like full left all the way down.
Right. And yep, not even gonna open those chests to look for silvers. She's done silverless Ganon a bunch of times, so definitely an afterthought at this point.
Yeah, like once you get to the quality of runners, really, I would even say beyond the top 128. I've taken a fall there, unfortunately. But once you get to the quality of runner, I would even say probably as low down on the qualifying leaderboard as like 200 or so, just without looking at it and knowing the names. I would say once you get to at least that point, silverless Ganon is kind of just a formality.
Yeah, for sure. And yep, Moldorm
Certainly for everybody in the top 128.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, Moldorm showing off a very interesting quirk of Moldorm in Boss Shuffle, having a randomized number of eyes for whatever reason.
I think that reason is, it might have been Zarby. I don't remember exactly who, but I want to say it was Zarby. Thought it would be cool and ran with it.
I actually did not know that, so...
I am pretty sure that's the reason. I don't remember exactly who it was that did it. So, oh, good job recovering, getting even the single off that after taking the hit, but I think that would have been real, like, that would have been 2 triples for Nep if not for that blue ball. And unfortunately, just kind of not having the greatest time with it afterwards, but there we go.
Mm-hmm.
It's still 4 cycles, which is not on average bad.
Mm-hmm.
It is just a bit unfortunate. Got a little screwed up by the RNG there.
Right.
On that blue ball, kind of ruining what could have been a 2 cycle. which feels bad, even though the 2-cycle was just not possible.
Mm-hmm.
Nep drops into the Ganon fight. TJ entering a fight here to get the Turtle Rock Big Key. And yeah, deja vu, another silverless Ganon fight. Who would have thought? Making good use of hookshot iframes there to get inside the circle of fire bats while it's expanding. And you've got 1 cycle.
Yep. Okay, just needs to get these 4 hits in phase 3 and then off to the final phase.
Yeah, already has the lamp equipped. Gonna use it. You light the left torch before the right torch goes out, and the right torch just never goes out. We call that torch glitch. And when you're doing the silverless fight with the spin attacks, it makes it significantly easier, and much easier on your magic bar as well.
Okay, got the torch glitch, so just need... well, now, only need just 10 more spins.
Yep. Of course, gotta light the torch back up after that. Couldn't get the one there to make a triple on this cycle, but oh well. Still making good progress. There we go. And we do see Nep not lighting the torch when Ganon's way off in that far corner, specifically to get those triples. Not that she needed to on that last cycle. But, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, there we go. Sailor Nep has done it. Just needs to cross the bridge, and we have our first undefeated runner of this group stage.
Yep. Nep across the bridge with a time of 1:33:35. And TJ is continuing to run a little bit here, but did opt to forfeit the race. I think it's going to actually come through after this boss fight, I think, is when it'll be.
Yeah, that'd be my guess. Kind of use the boss cooldown to kind of assess how's things looking. It's like, oh, okay, well, hey, at least I ended on the 7th crystal note.
Yep. So once TJ shreds these Armos with silver arrows, we'll see if either or both runners will be joining us. And we do have Nep with us. GG, congratulations.
Thank you. I want to say GG to TJ as well. That was a pretty interesting seed overall, I'd say.
Yeah, it was looking pretty interesting for a while. You guys were synced up at multiple points, which we found interesting. But ultimately kind of came down to Fire Rod Hunt, which you guys discussed a little bit in race time.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't sure how to feel about that. A key thing for me was I think if I get the Fire Rod there, there's a very good chance that I don't go into Eastern Palace after Pod and miss the flute for a long time. So it kind of felt good and bad at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And we do have TJ with us as well. GG's, welcome.
Yeah.
GG's.
No, good game, man. Sorry. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, sometimes, I mean,
Yeah, you
it's
know,
just
yeah.
in the last place you look.
That's well, I mean, yeah, yeah. Can't be helped. What are you gonna do?
At least the flippers had the decency to be Fire Rod locked this time.
No, I would really wishing they weren't.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I did not want to find flippers anywhere in a deep area. I wish I had found them. Because that would have maybe sent Nep somewhere into the flipper areas, and the deeper the flippers were, the less of a chance I had.
Yeah, it's very possible I could have chosen to do Swamp if I found the flippers.
Yeah.
I could see it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I didn't. Yeah. I wanted those flippers to be free. Honestly.
Yeah, especially because, Nep, you were saying just before TJ joined that if you had found the fire rod early, you probably would have skipped Eastern Palace and missed the flute,
Mm-hmm.
which is something that actually TJ had super early. He did that before the Dark World even, I believe.
Yeah.
That's
I think.
exciting. I like that.
Yeah. I was pretty. I wanted to go into Desert Palace with a fire source. And I was close, considering everything we had that led us up to the mountain and led us up into Desert Palace, because I found the glove in the back of Escape. I was relatively sure that there would be a fire source somewhere nearby, and I was very surprised when I found that flute that was lamp locked. So I kind of went into Eastern Palace expecting the lamp. And then I just had to go to Desert Palace anyway. So it was a nice little route that I had there. But I do wish I did get to Pyramid a lot sooner. It's not the first time that's burned me.
Yeah, you did have the current jump over to Catfish when you're doing the rest of the North Dark World.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, not following that through to Pyramid kind of meant that it was hard for you to ever find a reason to go back there.
I know. I am regretting that.
Yeah, but in a slightly different universe, I mean, the fire rod was just a Catfish instead.
Yeah.
So
that would have been really good.
yeah, that's how Rando is.
I know.
I'd say overall, you both played pretty good runs.
That's good. This is much better than our last one, I guess. At least that was in go mode when the race was over.
Yeah, I actually was pretty stressed the whole time for a number of reasons, but I want to say maybe I'm thinking of a different runner, but I want to say I watched your game against F. Coughlin, and I think I remember you saying in the post-race interview that in this mode or other kind of modes, you like to go to pod early. And so I was imagining all these scenarios, like you probably did that. When was the timing? Did you have bow first? Did you have fire rod first? If you had both of those, then I'm way behind here.
I didn't go into pod until much later in this. I think I was mentally prepared for a different type of seed because this was such a low chance of coming up that I hadn't gone through all of my MC boss strategies and preparation. So like that, getting to pod late was not something I probably would have done a week ago.
Yeah, for my part, I do have one small confession, and that's that I got confused somehow, and I just like mismarked Eastern Palace as a crystal, I guess. And so when I went in, that was not even like a gamble or just inertia. That was me trying to clear a crystal, and then I got the map, and I was like, oh no, what is this?
Yeah, nice.
And then I got the flute
there.
Then I got the flute, and I was like, well, that was a good mistake to make.
Yeah, well, if it was anything that was going to save me in the seat, it was that. So I was kind of banking on that, and I doubled down on it a bunch of times. Tried to dip Meyer a little earlier. That didn't work out so well. So yeah, a couple of things I could have cleaned up here, but ultimately the fire rod was pretty much the death knell. But wait, like I said, what are you going to do, right? I just have to win the next two. That's all, right? We got this, right? I still got it, right?
I would say that you're still in. I'd say you're still in very good position.
I gotta be honest. I am super pissed at Andrew and Sailor Nep's clean sweep. Super pissed about that.
If it's any consolation, every time before in the main tournament, I've just completely bombed out.
No, that is not consolation. Thank you.
I see. I understand.
Now I need you to win the damn thing. These things they got swept by the winner. So there you go. All right. There you go. Go Gadget Nep. All right.
That does sound a little better than got swept by the one who then just bombed out of the first round of brackets. So I'll try.
There you go. Everybody, just clap your hands for Sailor Nep and send her along to the top. Let's go. Wait, what am I saying? I still have a chance to be on this thing. Boo! Go TJ.
Rematch in the finals.
Still got a chance. All right.
Yeah, TJ, I would say that you are still in a very strong position in this group, even with Nep taking the clean sweep. Like,
Yeah.
because if you look at the rest of the group, Fred and Dirtash are both at 0 and 3.
Yeah.
So you take one win, and at best they can tie you, which I think the tiebreaker rules, I have not gone through the scenarios at all, but I think you're still looking pretty good.
Oh, sure. I just have to be ready with somebody to give me the Heimlich maneuver because I have a history of choking.
There are so many things I could say here that nobody else would understand. So I'm just not going to say it. I'm sorry.
I mean, choking is in losing the good position I was in.
Yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
you're in a good position. So, and I
Yeah.
think that I'll just at least say best of luck to you in the future races.
Thank you.
I'll leave it at that, just
Okay.
to bite my tongue on, like I said, things that nobody would understand.
That's all I have to do is not wash out, right?
Yeah, and I think you're well positioned to not do that.
Oh, hopefully you're right. And
You play the way that you played today, and I think it's a very strong chance.
okay, well, thank you. I appreciate you saying that. It means a lot saying that.
The only other thing I wanted to potentially inquire about is Nep, when you were going through Ice Palace, I did notice that we noticed that you did skip actually 2 chests in that location. Was there any particular thought process going on there with that?
Yeah, that's a meta tendency I have. If I ever fake Flipper into Crystal Ice Palace, I commit to not full clearing. I put it off as long as it makes sense, and then I go for it and do only the easy checks.
Okay, makes sense. Yeah, that's kind of what I figured, but just kind of wanted to see what that was about.
Yeah, I kind of felt a little bad about choosing to skip Freezor Room, but I was stressed enough at the time that I was like, this Bombos cast could cost me the raid, so I'm just gonna take that bet.
Yeah, understandable.
Did turn out in your favor, so
Yeah, Fire Rod's there that I just lose and we have a laugh about it. That's fine too.
Someday.
Indeed.
Someday that'll happen to me in my favor, but somehow that happens to a lot of people, but it never happens to you, does it? And by you I mean the collective you, is like when you're playing, not necessarily you.
Mm-hmm.
I get what you mean.
Yeah, cool. I thought it was being a little too vague there. Good.
I mean, in my view, the extended single item hunts at the end of a seed, whether it's ice rod, fire rod, bow, hook shot, you name it, those single item hunts, I mean, I don't like them.
Yeah, not great.
Yeah, it never feels great to be on the losing end of one of those. And honestly, once you realize you're in one, it doesn't really feel great to be on the winning end of it either, at least in my personal opinion.
Well, there's one side I'd rather be on.
That is true.
Yeah,
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's cool. Hope it was a good show at least.
I would definitely say it was.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So
yeah.
I do want to at the very least thank you guys for putting on the run, because we wouldn't have had anything to talk about without you guys. So
Yeah.
Well, similarly, I want to thank all of you for putting on the show. I always like to go back and rewatch these, and I think the spectacle of the commentary, the nice trackers getting filled in, it makes it very exciting.
Mm-hmm. I'll definitely say I think the highlight of this race for me was actually seeing both of you fight Vitreous at the top of Hera at literally the same time, but using largely different strats for taking them down. So that was really fun to kind of see that, and kind of both finished in around the same time too. So it was really neat to kind of see something like that in a race like this.
Oh, good. I don't have to ask whose strategy was superior there.
yeah, because TJ, you had the sword, you went for the spins.
Mm-hmm.
Nep had the hammer, went for that stay above the arena strat. And it did turn out very, very well for both of you.
Oh, that's always fun. One of the things I like doing in Boss Shuffle is I like to do cold stare in that room and just completely finish the fight off the platform. I love doing that. It's fun. The best part about that is that the item will just spawn right on top of you.
Very good. For me, when
This
I
is
fight
new
Cold
info to
Stone,
me, but I need to do it at some point.
when I fight Cold Stone, a little strat I like to do is get pushed down the hole in the middle, so that way I have to climb up 2 floors and start the fight over, and then I get to strategize what skips am I going to do later in Seed to try and make up that time just now.
I love that
It's a
strat.
mental exercise.
My favorite part about that strat is doing the fight again with not enough magic the second time.
That's why you got to pick up that half magic on the desert ledge. I thought about skipping it, but that kind of thought was exactly why I didn't.
Don't skip that. You get that half magic. Come on.
You gotta understand my reason was I'm like, if I get the flute in the midst later, then I can just pick it up and it'll be faster. And I'm like, don't be stupid.
Get it now, right? It's like, I might need this boomerang. Like, no, it's half magic. Pick it up. Thank you. Glad you did that.
Indeed.
Okay, well, I think that is going to wrap this up then. GG's to both Sailor Nep and TjMaelstrom. Nep on being the first undefeated runner of the group stage. We'll be going into the basically the first half of the bracket stage with a perfect record so far. Best of luck with that. TJ, best of luck on the rest of the group stage. Still got 2 matches to go. Anytime when those matches are popping up? Or
I haven't scheduled one against Fred Coughlin yet, but I do have one on 1 p.m. Eastern on Saturday against Durdash. That is the next one.
Okay, well, definitely come back, see that race. Not sure if it'll get a restream yet, obviously, but definitely pay attention to the schedule. Could potentially watch it through those lovely event tabs on the Discord server as well. And for those who want some more randomizer action right now, we got 2 matches going on. We got Ninjimbro versus Zafikal in SpeedGaming 4. And then we have on SpeedGaming 3, Talon 116 versus Radical Sniper 99. Both of those races started within the last hour, so still got some time to go on those. So hop on over to there if you want to catch some more randomizer.
Yeah, in particular, right now in real time, that Talon versus Radical Sniper race is only about 20 minutes in, so still in its early stages. So if you're one of those types that likes to watch a race from the start, that's best you're going to get tonight. But we do have, actually no, we do have one more race tonight that has not yet started. On ALTTP Randomizer, we've got a Homewrecker versus Slapshot Fred starting at 9:10 p.m. Eastern, which is just over 10 minutes from now. So consider checking that one out as well. And then gonna have a lot tomorrow, Friday, going up through the weekend as well. So just keep an eye on the schedule, as Slim Kirby said.
And of course, would like to thank Sandres316 for helping with the tracking, getting all those buttons lit up. Of course, thank you to my co-com partner Reg for joining me on this. This was a very fun race to watch, and of course, as again, GG, and thanks to our runners for giving us a show to talk about.
Yep, it was. Sorry, go on.
No, I was just going to thank you both. It was excellent.
Yeah, it was definitely a very entertaining one. Glad that I was here to call it. I think that will be it for us. We'll see you guys some other race.